Managers of Reddit, past or present, what is your favorite I am the manager story? We had this insane and rude as hell old woman, screaming and ranting she couldn't use a coupon for something the coupon was not even for. We stood there arguing a good 5 minutes holding the line up. Her grown granddaughters were with her trying to cool her down and embarrassed as hell. Usually, I would have just given in and let her use the damn thing, but she was being so rude I was not about to help her. She asked me to speak to my manager, and I said I was the manager, and she didn't like that at all and said, well, I'll just go to the other location in town, they will take my coupon, and I said, not if you don't buy what it is for. She left. Few minutes later we run out of a product we need, and I call other location, and they have some we can borrow, so I head over to get it. I walk in the store, and who do I see about to get in line for some food? The old coupon lady. So I wash my hands, glove on up and jump on the food line. The lady walks up to the counter, and I smile huge and say, hello. How can I help you? Her granddaughters both gasp and go, oh god, here we go, and the look on the grandma's face was priceless. She did not try the coupon again, lol. Working night shifts at a gas station, my co-worker's sister came into the store trying to buy cigarettes without an ID. I didn't say anything about it. He rejected the sale just cause he could. Using the excuse, the manager may chew my ass out, she responded with something along the lines of, how would he know? I chime in coolly with, I'm the manager. Along the same lines, I was at my first trade show for a product I invented. It hit the market in February, and the trade show was the 26th of February. A guy came to our booth, and cocky told us that he'd seen our product before, and he didn't like shit made in China. I literally laughed in his face. I said, I invented it. I make it in the US, and it's only been available for 2 weeks. He just looked at me suspiciously and walked away. Giving an interview for a restaurant job. The guy has a ton of experience, and seems like he's more than capable of it. Only thing is, he's a job hopper. Worked at something like 10 other restaurants in town in the last year and a half. I asked him about it, why he was in and out of all these places, and he says, oh, I keep getting into conflicts with people. I really just am not good with rules, I prefer to do things my own way. I never get along with management. So, in case the fact that I'm interviewing you didn't give it away, I am the manager here. He lost all color in his face and thanked me for my time. I'd rather do things my way than have a job. Not really a good way to go through life. If his way is genuinely better, then he should be able to persuade his manager to at least consider it. Automotive industry here. Quick lube style place. Franchise where owner only owns 2 locations. I'm the service center manager of 1 location, and area manager over both. Customer rolls up and asks for an oil change. She drives her van in, hops out, and walks around the side of the building. Once we finish the service, she walks back around and gets in the van. She starts to pull the van out, and starts yelling about her window, saying we broke it and that it wouldn't roll up now. I immediately pulled up the camera footage, clearly showing the window was down when she pulled in, and she didn't want to hear it. She promptly asked for the manager. I explained that I was the manager. She demanded to speak to my regional manager. I explained that I was the only person she'd speak to, as the owner is fairly absent and doesn't handle petty store level complaints. She called the corporate 1-800 number on the back of our invoices. Because we're a franchise, that complaint gets typed out and sent right back to my email inbox with a phone number to contact the customer. She wasn't pleased to hear my voice calling her to shut her down again. I work in a retail outlet store. We receive all the older merchandise from the main stores in the district, so they can make room for newer collections, and we sell the old stock at a reduced price. There's nothing wrong with the clothing, it's just from an older collection. However, because of the reduced price, everything is final sale. We won't take returns or exchanges. Before every transaction at the cash, we remind the customer that their purchase will be final sale, no exchange, no return. And then once the transaction is completed, we stamp their receipt with final sale. Of course, sometimes exceptions can be made. If the item is defective or the customer is really nice, we will make an exception. Anyways, one day a lady comes in, and I can tell she's one of those customers. Cuts me off as I'm greeting her, to tell me that she wants to return an item because it didn't fit her or something like that. I explained to her that, look, I'm sorry madam, but there is nothing that I can do, everything is final sale. She replies that she was never told this. I take a look at her receipt, and I see that it's been stamped final sale, so I tell her, look madam, somebody must have told you because your receipt is even stamped. Immediately she goes off on me, yelling, screaming, swearing, saying how incompetent I am, and that's why I'm working in retail because I can't find another job, and blah blah blah. The whole time I'm just staring at her. She finally finishes her tirade by saying that she shouldn't listen to lowly employee like me, and then she asks for the manager. I cleared my throat. I looked her dead in the eye with a grin on my face. I'm very sorry for you right now, but I am the manager. She just deflated. All the gusto goes out of her. Swears under her breath and leaves the store. The part that really gets me though, is that the shirt she was trying to return, it cost $5. But it was the best moment of my entire part-time retail career. When I was in high school, I worked at a candle store in the mall. For the most part, everything was returnable for store credit, unless it was a sale item or holiday specific stuff. I had a woman giving me the hardest time about not being able to return something that had obviously been used for an event, and she no longer needed. She asked for the manager, who was there but wasn't satisfied with her answer. She went on to ask that we contact someone else about it, and it just happened that we had a visitor from head office at the store that day. Still not happy with getting the same response from all of us, she went on that general disgruntled customer rant of, this place is terrible, and I'm going to tell everyone how terrible it is, and no one is going to shop here. And in the best move I've ever seen, the woman from head office dragged a ladder out into the middle of the mall walkway, and insisted that the woman start telling people about her experience right then and there. The woman quickly shut up and left. It was beautiful. Not the manager, but was in charge. Working in a kitchen, and whoever was on the close ran the shift. I ran closes 2 or 3 times a week depending. I rocked into work one day, started doing my shit and doling out tasks as and when they needed doing. One of the newer staff members decided they weren't following my orders, because I wasn't any higher up the food chain than they were, in their eyes. Dude, why should I do that? You're not a manager. I'm gonna carry on doing my job. Which at the time consisted of standing around waiting, because it was about 10 PM on a Monday evening, and nobody was ordering food. Nah man, I'm on the close, so it's my kitchen. We need to get this place cleaned, and I'm allowed to delegate roles. You're lucky I've given you an easy job really. You could be doing what Gary's gotta do, where you're guaranteed to get first degree burns if you're not careful. Duck you. I've told you, I'm not listening to you. I'm done in 2 hours, and you've got no power over me. Actual manager walks by at this point. Hey, kid. This is SG Dave's kitchen for the night. If he tells you to do something, you do it. He can run a kitchen better than I can, and if I have to come in here to make you do some actual work, I'll make sure he gets you cleaning behind the grills. It's always fun to see a lazy worker get reamed for being a donk. 21/22 years old, low-rung manager of movie theater. Guy tearing tickets took a lunch break, so I am tearing tickets. Lady comes in, like an hour before her show is supposed to start. The end of the film is still going on, and she is holding what I can only guess is an ice cream sundae, made for 4 people. I tell her we aren't letting in for that film yet, and she can't bring in outside food into the theater. She gets into a tizzy and tells me that she always, I say always, brings food into the theater, and no one has ever stopped her. I'm an impetuous 21/22-year-old making 20 cents over minimum wage, so I tell her, it's been a rule since before World War II, you should get out more. She says, I want to talk to the manager. I say, sure thing, I'll go up to the office and he will come down. And then I walked up to the office, checked my hotmail, I'm old, and came down and told her I'm the manager. and she can't come in with the outside food. Ended up giving her a refund for her ticket after she said, "I know the owner of this theater, and he will fire you." It would have been nice if I had been fired. I would have gotten unemployment. Got a phone call from one of my salespeople. Guy wanted an item for the same price as Best Buy. Except Best Buy didn't have them in stock on their website or in store. I checked. Plus, we don't have a price match guarantee. So I denied the price match. Got another phone call about 20 minutes later from the same salesperson, sounding frazzled, for the same price match. I tell him to hold on, and decide to take a walk. So I show up, and the guy is still there, and 3 of my guys are standing around with that "I just got yelled at for 20 minutes" look I've had on my own face far too often. I walk over and ask the customer what was the matter. I then make a big show of scanning the item and checking Best Buy's website and checking our internal POS system, before sadly declaring that, "Gee, I sure would like to price match the item, but, unfortunately, I cannot. Sorry. How would you like to pay today, sir?" Guy freaks the duck out, yelling about how ridiculous it all is, and how we're violating our price match guarantee, and how he's going to email corporate. Unfortunately, sir, we do not have a price match guarantee. And I'm afraid we are unable to match that price in this particular instance. Now, would you like to pay for this item now, sir? I saw a price match guarantee on your website. I'm gonna email corporate. Sir, I'm afraid we have no price guarantee on our website. You may be confusing us with another company, sir. If you'd like to think about your purchase, we can always give you a price quote. You do have a price guarantee. I saw it on your website. You're being very unreasonable. So, perhaps you'd like to think about your purchase and complete this transaction at a different time? This is ducking ridiculous. And he took out his phone, snapped a picture of my face, and a picture of my name tag, and stalked out. Over a $12 price difference. So I told the salesperson he could take an unlogged break, and I went back to my office. I looked up the guy's account, and then googled his name. A VP at some tech company in California. I put a note in his account. "Good luck getting a return authorization now, asshole." I informed the director of sales as soon as possible, because see yeah. He giggled when I got to the picture taking part of the story. Not exactly the same, but I saw an argument in my university once. An undergrad was so sure of his position that he referenced a book he had to prove his point. The person he was arguing with wrote the book. It was above efficient airfoils in an aerodynamics class. On the other spectrum, my boss, a few years ago, would ask the secretary to do something, and one time, she was like, "Nah, we won't be doing that." And he was all like, "But, I thought I was the boss," and walked away with his head down. I used to run a bar. I'd usually be in the office or supervising, but I got bored one night and covered the bar whilst the bartenders went out for a smoke break. This woman comes up with her friends and quickly becomes an annoying customer. Takes forever to decide on drinks, keeps trying to get free shots, trying to haggle on drinks prices, all while being rather rude. I start to get irate as the bar starts to get busy. More and more customers are trying to get drinks, but this woman will not decide what she wants. Eventually, I tell her that there are other people waiting to be served, and I'll come back to her once she's ready to order. That shit did not go down well. The woman starts shouting at me, saying how she could take as long as she wanted. She was there first. Blah blah blah. She ended her ranting saying that she didn't want to speak to a shit bartender anymore, and demanded to see my manager. I obliged, went into the office, a door right next to the bar, waited for 30 seconds before coming out, went back to the woman and said, "I hear you've been having an issue with a member of my staff? Huh, is this a ducking joke? I said to go and get your manager." Me, "You're looking at him, love. And seeing as you've wasted my time, and all the good folks' time, you can wait till everyone is served before you." The look on her face was priceless. She began swearing at me profusely, even tried to throw someone else's drink over me. By that point I had more than enough reason to throw her out of the bar, which I did, to the delight of the other patrons. I was tipped well after that, but I put that shit in the tip jar. Cause managers don't get tips. At least the boss staff got some money and a laugh out of it. I used to work for a particularly large ISP doing tech support. One day the guy working next to me was dealing with a particularly rude business customer. The business customers were usually treated like kings, but this guy was having a particularly hard time even getting a word in. Eventually he put up his hand to motion the supervisor come talk to the customer. Right then the owner of the company happened to be walking by with another one of the executives. I've met the guy a few times at the company's social events, and he is a really down-to-earth employee-friendly boss. He asked what the issue was with his customer, and after it was explained, he took the headset and picked up the line. After listening for about 4 to 5 minutes, he said very flatly, "That's never going to happen, especially not when you have an attitude like a 13-year-old girl." Again listening for a minute before he said, "I don't have a manager. I own this company, and I don't have to listen to this shit from an asshole like you, and neither do my employees. I'm terminating your account with us." He hung up, and I watched him disable this guy's account and add a note to the file. "Customer is an asshole. Do not reinstate account, boss." Then he just handed back the headset and carried on about his day.